we made it.
We did make it.
Guys, you would think that at some point in time, the universe goes, that's it, we're done.
Well, it's just, I was just thinking today, I'm moving on to StreamYard because I was just fooling around with Zoom and it's just random. It's just like one day you need a passcode, one day you don't. It's just completely random. So I was thinking StreamYard is, I'm ready for a change, but I think it's emblematic. It's just freaking chaos right now.
Gosh. Well, I tell you, everybody, welcome to everybody's here. Let me switch this over so that so the words are on my face instead of yours. All right, so I think I got the time zone wrong as usual. Sheila gets, it's just crazy with Sheila sometimes. And then when we got here, we had audio problems. But we're here now.
Yes, we're here now. I love your moon.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I thought that would be at least a nice little touch to talk under the full moon, right? All right. So if anybody doesn't know, this is Dave Johnson. Dave Johnson lives in Australia. He's actually coming to us from the future because it is Wednesday morning there. So they're already halfway through their week while we're still stuck in Tuesday. And Dave, go ahead and let everybody know kind of how to get a hold of you, what you do on your channel, this, that, and the other, and then we will get into it. You guys know we're gonna dive in, and there's some really good questions and some stuff to talk about. So go for it, honey.
These are the days of big questions, right? I'm Dave Johnson. I have a website you can look at. It's moonride.com/AU for Australia, because that's where I live. I do past life regressions. I channel. I also trance channel, shamanic journeys, and I know I'm leaving something out, but that sums it up. And check out the website. You'll see. You can also, of course, watch my channel, which is also called Moonride.
That's right. And he's been at this for quite some time. In fact, he's been at it a little longer than I have. I don't know how much longer. I don't remember how much. When did you start?
I started right after the Orange one became president the first time. So 2015, just before 2016. I think it might have been actually a little bit after his inauguration. So about 12 years.
Okay. Wow. You've been there for a little while. I started March of 2019, I think. I got on to get that last year before, Biden was elected and stuff like that. So yes, I'm actually coming up on is that 6 or 7 years? I don't know anymore. So we've been here for a little while, and Dave and I kind of met through an email. Actually, I was asked to do a reading on one of his readings, and I asked him for permission. Of course, that's what you do, right? If you have integrity, you ask somebody permission if you wanted to do a little bit of a reading on it. Anyways, it was about ships in the sea, I think. It was a long time ago. Dave, we have a lot to talk about. This country, the United States, I have been trying to do videos and falling short of being vulnerable is literally just crying on screen, because this empath is really having a hard time. I want to come on and show a strong face and stuff like that, and I know that I am strong, and I know that you are strong, and I know the viewers are strong. We're making it through at this point in time. However, my empath and connecting to the pain and the suffering, especially what the ICE agents are doing, I don't have a buffer anymore. In fact, I could cry right now. I'm having the worst time keeping it inside, the crying and the empath part about it. So I know that my viewers have seen a little bit of a downtick in some of my videos, and that is the reason why, because I can't come on and just cry the whole time. You know what I mean? It's been a little hard.
Well, it's a dilemma. because like if I'm gonna make a video and I like sometimes I'm like, God, what am I making a video right now for? And what am I gonna say? What am I gonna look at? Like this is so present in my own mind, and it's frankly stressing me out so much. I am so worried all the time that it's hard to calm down enough to channel. I still do it, but I'm having to meditate a lot more between before sessions. I'm going to have to meditate a lot more just in general. I have to be very heavily consistent. Um, I just say this because I empathize with you and I empathize with everybody there. And I'm also getting frantic emails from places like Minnesota. People are
Yes.
absolutely frantic. And as they're describing him, it makes me think of My Eye as a Camera. And this was the book that Cabaret is based on. And in that book, they say, he's with these kind of lefty people. Isherwood is kind of a lefty communist type person. And he says, one day I'm sitting in the lefty cafe, right? And this guy comes in and he makes a phone call in a phone booth inside the cafe. Nazis come in and drag him out. And even though all the people in the room are his friends and colleagues and support him, they just stand there and watch him get dragged out. There's nothing they can
Yeah.
do. And he says, that's the moment when I realized, like, I got to get out of here. I'm in trouble because that could be me. The fact that I am British will not save me. The fact that you are white obviously is not going to save you right now. It's just
No.
really hitting home. And I really want to empathize with all of you who are stressing. I think there is much more to the story. But
Yeah.
and there are a silver lining would be that people are coming together. I even would say that some people on the right are not liking this, right? So it seems like there's a body of people in the middle who are shifting a bit, right? And it's unfortunate that these incidents have to happen, specifically to people with white skin, for gun owners, for them to identify. But yeah, there are other positives going on right now, but I think we can focus right now on not the positives because that's real. As a spiritual
Yeah.
person, I don't want to do spiritual bypass. Oh, it's all going to be good and light in the
Right.
end. Happy ever after. Well,
Correct.
yeah, what am I going to do? Is like wait 30 years until I find a cheap piece. What do I do now?
Right.
It's very
And
important.
that comes to a real conversation is that we're here doing the work and we know that we're working through the worst of the worst. And I mean, I have to visualize getting through this and getting to the other side. We're gonna be so much better for it. I believe that so deep in my soul that we're going through one of the darkest souls of this. The whole world is involved, to be honest with you.
Right.
And I know that we're walking through some really stuff. I mean, racism came in ugly, it's going to leave ugly. That is a fact that we cannot ignore anymore, right?
Yeah.
And we as light workers have come down to this earth right here, right now, to help with that, to gather. I mean, YouTube has put us. Look at you. You're in Australia. I'm in Colorado, for goodness sakes. We
Yeah.
are together working as white or light workers to work through all of this negative stuff and all of this dark energy. And look at all of our subscribers that we're taking along with us. What was
Yes.
one of our things that I think that I agreed to when I came down here is you're going to take the people with you. You're going to show them the way. You're going to be the light at the end of the tunnel. My mom used to tell me that I was a lighthouse.
Wow.
I don't know exactly what she used to mean by that, but I think I know now is I'm a lighthouse. No matter what the storm is around me, I'm always that one solid place where people can look and navigate to the light. And whether she meant it that way, I don't know, but that's what she used to call me, was the lighthouse.
Well,
And
good
so
for her.
this is what you are too. We're all of us light workers are the lighthouse. That are through the storm, through the darkness, through the chaos, through the big waves of emotions stuff like that. We're staying sturdy and walking through that. But it's a real conversation. Even we sit back and cry with you. We're not immune to the pain.
Yes. And if your guys are empaths, most people who are watching are empaths, there's these advantages. You know love better, but there's also this unbearable just barrage of really bad information. And I can't be immune to it. I can manage it, but I cannot stop having empathy for these people and
Yeah.
just the situation in general. I cannot stop seeing a sort of catastrophes, even if they're not necessarily there. I can't help myself. If you are feeling this a lot, spend a lot of time with yourself and give yourself a healing time. It's not going to help anybody if you are freaked out and you are upset. You have to be upset and freaked out, but it mitigated as much as possible. You'll be more available. And again, there is a greater picture here if you stand back of what are we learning on the planet today. And Sheila and I are learning a lot, right? Our new community is learning a lot. We're here to witness this time. I suppose one could also say it could be worse, not that much worse, but it could be worse. I do also feel like there's a shift, that it seems like, he finally said no to, maybe I won't invade Denmark. The Europeans pushed back.
We knew he was going to taco out.
Right.
Hogarth and Lena and Lady G, we read on that before, or maybe it was not them. It was Lori from Way of Positive Change and Danny Shea. That's what we were on there. We asked that question, and we all got that he was going to taco out and not go after Greenland. And that's what he did.
Problem with Trump is that he always does these things just to gauge the reaction. So if they don't respond with a no way, then he would go forward. So we're always responding to Trump. And if we don't respond, then it's like, well, all right, I'll take it over. And, nobody's going to stop me. The Republican Party is not stopping him, which is why he's doing things in Minneapolis that are illegal. And I keep finding myself in the situation where I have to defend the people doing legal actions. And it's legal to fire the police. It's not illegal. It is illegal to not give these people a trial. It's against law.
Obama, we're gonna get them after he dies when we know he's leaving. However, let's kind of go back to the focus. I want to just start with the first question, which is the title to this video, which it says, "Why are so many Americans feel like it is about to break?"
Good question. And I'm going to light some sage here. And I think this is the sage you sent me many years ago. I think I'm down to one of the last. And it was not a great thing that Sheila did.
Do you need a new care package, Dave? Because I can do that.
Well, I would not say no to a care package, but don't apply. Audience members don't feel
care package will be on the way.
Thank you so much. I always just nice to get packages. Let's go to, it feels like something's gonna break. I'm totally there. Okay, let's see. Oh, all right. So Spirit and a guy showed up. His name is White Feather. If you ever watch Kristen, White Feather showed up for her some time ago. So, Spirit, it feels like something's going to break. Okay, first of all, I'm getting a full moon that becomes a half moon, and we're at kind of half moon status right now. So I'm wondering if the next 2 weeks are like significant, or even the next month. All right, what's the break? Are we at a breaking point? I mean, here's two cars and they swoop by each other and they just barely miss. Like it's almost like they might nick the side mirrors. and has a feeling of two different sides like swooping past each other. It's not. It's not. It's not the little gnome character, but it's someone like him wearing the the vest of ice. Look, as I'm looking at this ice agent, he does not look so aggressive. He looks like he is having second thoughts and not entirely comfortable with it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I signed up. Again, this is a teachable time for for those ICE agents. Yeah, maybe this is what firsthand information they need to, go beyond the news they're watching. So what are you guys going to do? That's my question. This guy kind of bows his head, and he's doing this with the gun. He's kind of pointing it, but he's quite half-hearted about it. And I even get the feeling it's not fear, it is remorse, ethical remorse. So, Spirit, we want to know directly about this time of breaking points. All right, I'm getting a total new picture. So, sometimes when you see old films, like very old film, and it's almost like the film breaks up before your eyes, right? You're like looking, and all of a sudden, and now I'm seeing Trump pounding a lectern. I'd say Trump looks like he's having a stroke or a heart attack. Yeah, that might be the breaking point, where I think that just goes to hell. Okay, so tell me more, Spirit. What else happens? Maybe it's figurative, maybe it's literal, but as he's on the stage, I see people sort of waiting at either ends of the stage, behind the curtains, and they're not really rushing to help him. I mean, Christy Nome, not really rushing to help him. Here he is flailing on the stage. Again, this might just be Trump flailing and not a medical issue. But Christy Nome's like, well, not so sure. Somebody call the doctor. And so are all the other supporters. They're the ones waiting in the wings. I got to say, although, it feels like this breaking point it really is him losing support. I think that he miscalculated, and everybody knows he miscalculated. And even Christy Nome would be kind of glad if he was gone, right? Even though he's protecting her. And now we're focusing on Nome. She's looking worried. Like, if he dies, I won't get my pardon. All right, so Spirit, we want to know more about the breaking point. Yeah, White Feather comes to me with a peace pipe. He's taken the peace pipe and he throws it on the ground, and it just seems like no more peace. We've had enough. It's just like a feeling of like we had enough. I want to remind everybody, it's very important. You're at a protest to be peaceful and to be seen to be peaceful. The more that happens, the more that supports the left or anybody who's questioning this, that supports them, and the right will say, well, can't really knock them on that. Okay, here's another peaceful image. It's very important that we don't give, any content to the right. I know this is extremely difficult. I'm essentially asking you to stand there while someone points a gun at you and keep filming. And I hope you'll all be very careful in doing this, but I do not see any other path forward. Tell me more about the peace pipe, Spirit. This fellow, White Feather, he gets to a city, I think it's Minneapolis, and he gets down on his knees and he just cries. He just cries. It's a little bit like we have to get to a breaking point. Show me more. So I'm seeing those people lots of protesters with a camera. I'm seeing Renee Good. I'm seeing the Petri Petty that just died. Sorry, I sometimes lose names in this work. What do you guys want to tell me? We did our duty by America. We gave our lives to do this duty, and in some sense, they are proud of themselves. This was their mission. Okay, can you all tell me more about the breaking point? I mean, I think the basic answer is yes. There is a breaking point, and we're at it now. There's a future of resolution, and I think it is nearer than we think. Spirit, when will this really clear up? When will we feel better? In 1 month, we will feel better. It won't have stopped. I have a feeling there'll be a drawdown, but maybe that's more another question.
Right. And see what you get also is, what we've been watching on the streets, the actual murders of both of them and more. Sometimes they were murdering people without them being videotaped, so there's no way of proving it or not proving it at that point, right? But we now know most probably everyone, they lie about it anyway, so probably every one of their shootings have been murders.
Yes.
At this point, so I don't believe anything that they're saying. The breaking point is it's like we thought that we were divided, but the breaking point is the division. How far are the Republicans willing to, like, literally stand by their man on this? I think there's a breaking point. I mean, the Democrats are already there. We're already on the other side. We're already there. But I think the breaking point is with them, with the Republicans, with the people who have been supporting them no matter what,
Right.
the diehards,
Right.
the cult
like
members.
Yeah, I'm getting a string, and it's like, I think this is all the American people, 75%. I don't think it's 75% Republicans. I think it's 75% of the population. So it's not a gigantic movement for the Republican Party, but it is significant, maybe 10 points, maybe 15. But yeah, when's the breaking point for these Republicans? It's really interesting that they're gun owners. The first thing Noam did tell me, is it Petty? I don't want to say his name wrong. The man who got shot.
I forget his name. Alec. I'm bad with names.
Oh, no worries.
So,
someone
you know
said,
who? Yeah,
put in a comment.
Put it in the chat. Yep.
I think
his
it's
name.
Petty. Right.
Petty. Pretty. I don't know. Pretti.
Thanks, Arsena.
Pretti. Yeah.
Right, thanks, Laura. Yeah.
Alex. There it is.
I don't want to miss Alex. I don't want to mispronounce his name. It seems important. In any case, Noam made a mistake. The first thing that she did was show his gun, or show a image of a gun that he supposedly has. Well, that just completely alienated all those gun-toting people on the right who support your right to have a gun, and it was a very bad look. I think that was a critical mistake on her part. They spin these stories and people will believe them, but somehow when you went after a gun owner for being a gun owner, those people were alienated and starting to, they are the righteous sort of reactionary people that really believe in the Second Amendment. So their own base, sort of just like, so anything else? It's interesting. It's just the lines get stronger. It's almost like some people absolutely double down. I'm seeing a woman who's doubled down, though. All right, what are you telling me? I get the woman that I'm seeing is not she's never going to see it. There's some people who are never going to see it, right? It's like we all kept arguing about January 6th. And you're like, come on. I mean, you can literally watch the TV. They will find a way. That is 25% of the people. We're never going to change their
Yeah.
mind. So,
No, we never, yeah, we never consider them when because they're the ones that have created this monster. They're not going to
yes,
change. They're getting what they want. But I
it's a
do want
10.
to yeah. I do want to say thank you so much for the super sticker. For that, and I want to show that one, empathy overload. I'm right there with you. I agree with you there. And thank you so much for this one. Hi, Dave and Sheila. Big hug to the both of you. And there's a few other questions here. I don't know. I did it my last show. I think I did what I do is I do a little bit of a card spread, and I have a way of trying to narrow down a date and some time. And I've been very successful at it. Well,
Well
this
done.
time when I did that, yeah, when I did that, I was wondering, when is he gonna die? To be honest with you, I just did
Great,
it.
great question.
And I got through into February and then I went to February was significant. So I started doing day by day in February, and I came up with February 11th. Now, a lot of people have been coming like 2 months and a lot of collaborations kind of after that, a little bit of hope that, maybe my cards are telling the story. If anything, can you kind of go in maybe briefly to see what you're seeing with his body? Because it's kind of scary for me as as a psychic or whatever to say, hey, it's February 11th, that's when we're gonna lose him. But I can only tell you what the card said and what spirit was saying for me. Maybe it's significant in another way. I don't know, but I would like for you to look at it and see what you think.
Take a look. Now, I noticed, I kind of just saw that he's passing. So I kind of anticipated your question. I did not know that Sheila was going to ask me that. So I kind of already anticipated that it's imminent. I'm there. We're there at the podium again. There's a doctor on hand. Look, everybody knows he is really sick. And this is a big deal. Keep in mind that all those people are like, I need a pardon for what I did. And if he drops dead, there's no time to pardon me. Right? Okay. Show me more. I'm getting kind of a strange sort of ground zero on him. Like I'm above him. Yeah, waiting for some. Let's see. The spirit is Sheila, right? About February 11th. The first portion I get is or 12th or 13th. I think that it's, the small detail is open. It's open to what happens. It depends what he has for breakfast. Keep in mind, all of this material is not good for him, right? He is thinking of, he might go to jail himself. Spirit, tell me more. Is Sheila right? I think you're close to right. Again, I think there's a possibility it could happen around that time, maybe a couple of days later. So, and I've got to ask this because it came into my mind. Will they keep it secret? Will they keep it secret? I don't think they're going to tell us right away anyway. I think they'll keep it secret for a little while, like a day and a half at least. And I anticipate that they will keep it secret so that they can do things which are illegal. That is, they can use his auto pen to give them all pardons or finagle something, or, we know the vice president's going to be, he can always give them pardons. So that might be what they try to do. But it's complicated. It's very complicated. Once more, what do we think? Well, when I see this, I have to say, I see you, Sheila, smiling. So when I see that face smiling, I'm thinking Sheila could be right, because we will all be so relieved. This house of cards is going to fall. And yeah, I think that you are right.
Well, I have to give credit to where credit is due. That's the spirit, right? I'm the vessel to channel that information out into the universe, and that is what my cards came up with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, the only really the rolling real credit I can definitely accept is the fact that I'm willing to just be honest with, like you are, like just be honest with the story. Like, this is what I found. This is what's going on, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, but I just want to also say thank you so much for that. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Is that SSW? I'm really bad with names. That's why I try not to say them. But anyways, all right. So we have other questions that we have here. Here's one here. Let's show this one. It says, what is going on has
Mhm.
sapped all of my energy. Oh, has sapped all of my energy. All I want to do is sleep. It's just soul wrenching. Okay, that was just a statement. Yes, I agree with you. It's sapping a lot of energy. Let's
Yeah.
see. Go ahead.
We have to limit how much we're seeing. So it's almost impossible for me to stop looking at YouTube. I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But there's a certain point at which we know what the situation is. We have limited power to do it. We are doing all we can. Stop watching, and it's gets almost like I want me to stop watching and go to the other room and just make myself sit in the sun, make myself read a book, make myself go in the ocean, make myself, call someone that I love. It's just, you have to make yourself stop because there's a certain point at which you've already made your decision. We already know what it is. Watching is not helping. And obviously it's helping to a degree, so we're informed. But there's a certain point where I would even like write on my pad, 30 minutes, and I would
Yeah.
do this where I would don't do it first thing in the morning. Try it, because then you'll get on a train all day long and you'll just freak out. One thing that's really important is the media is amplifying the terrible events, right?
Oh, I
So it is,
agree.
understand that it's 1 out of 100,000, but it seems like it's 100,000 because that's what's in your face. No one is showing you a video of someone helping a nice lady across the street. Nobody is showing the light worker at home
Yeah.
meditating. Keep in mind what you are seeing is the hard edge of reality. It's not necessarily untrue. It's the hard edge of the reality. It is a portion of what we're experiencing. I would like not hesitate to go, "Oh, what's good for me now?" So if I were to write what's good for me now, the first thing I'd start with is community, right? Sheila's awesome. We are friends now, right? We could go through a list of good things. You're being bombarded with this terrible information. You're not being bombarded with really good information. It doesn't sell. So you're going to have to create your, yes, this is horrible, and I'm going to do everything I can to stop it, and everything I can to stop it. And also, now as I preach this to you, I make it sound like it's that easy. I'm not very good at
It's
following
not.
the rules I told you, okay? But
Yeah.
it's a daily practice. Part of my job is to calm myself down. I have to do that for me. I have to do that for my viewers. That's a discipline in and of itself. I think it's a lot easier to take if you do believe in multiple lives. Because if you look at it from the perspective of 1,000 years, we can look at people in World War II who suffered terribly and say, well, there was learning going on, and the world did learn something. This does not justify any actions in World War II, but it does mean that if you're in that space in World War II, you're so engulfed in your fear that you'd have difficulty making decisions. But from a distance, we can say, oh, well, it was a terrible thing and there were some heroes born. The world now knows what it's like. The United States of America has to learn what fascism is. Apparently, there's a whole body of people that do not value our Constitution or our elections. So we're going to have to learn that. That was true before YouTube, right?
Well,
But it's just, obvious.
You know, we'll get touch on that a little bit, but you know, I have come across all of my life people who wanting control, and I think that kind of tapped into everybody wanting control over something. I don't know what that is from the boomers. I don't really know, but I remember experiencing that. But I kind of want to move on a little bit. And it says, Sheila, have been watching the Damage Report, left wing, great show. Someone on there said, today I heard a psychic say Trump's out on February 17th. So people
Uh-huh.
are getting February, which
Yes.
there you go, right? Also, I wanted to say thank you so much. Sending love, hugs. Thank you so much. So here's something really deep, Dave. Well, maybe one more here. Hi, Sheila and Dave. You're still feeling February 11th. Something major will happen. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. So here, okay, Dave, you're gonna have to put your deep boots on. You're gonna go deep. So here's a question. I got a consensus of a whole bunch of questions I was sent through my posts. They were trying. I sometimes just kind of get a sense of what they're really wanting to ask. What they're really wanting to ask, Dave, is can you really look within the administration, people that are just solidly every single day Trump in their face, JD Vance in their face, they're dealing with the chaos and all that. Look in there and see what you see, how they're feeling, how they're really doing it, come up with some truths about what they're experiencing, what they know. Can you kind of, not necessarily Trump, because we already know he's delusional little taco head, but the people around him, they know the truth. And you
Yes.
tap into that truth.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And one other thing that I do, bottom pyramid, going into the earth. I'm right now putting all my worries, energies, stresses into the earth so that I can read clear for y'all. That's something I totally recommend. And I will be sitting in my lawn going, I just like, no, Dave, no, put that in the earth now, put it in the earth, put it in the earth. One thing that I find helps because it helps you achieve some clarity, and that's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm seeing it's kind of funny that little mini session that I had just there with the stage. Like, now I'm seeing bits and pieces of it as you ask questions. So now I'm seeing Gnome, and she's got this very placid face on, but I get a feeling she's starting to have some remorse, right? She's starting to think like, I could go to prison for this. They are frantically trying to figure out a way to cover their tracks so they don't go to prison. I wouldn't be surprised if people like Noma are destroying evidence before it's subpoenaed. They're legally allowed to destroy evidence. So TikTok Congress, let's get on this. But here's and then who's the other creepy guy, Tom Bowman or something, who's he's heading this office. He was also caught taking a $50,000 bribe. I think y'all know who I mean. It's an awful, awful person. So he's worried because they could open up the case for the bribe. All right, you guys, what are you doing? What are you going to do? Just exit strategies. Do I need to leave the country? Should I, should I, build a house in the woods? Where can I go that I can't be served a subpoena? There's a great deal of worry. I mean, this is a positive sign. They are worried. They realize the tide has turned to some degree. Right. The family of Trump is also worried. All right, you guys, but beyond yourself, thinking for what's the plan? What's the plan for the United States? Noam looks at me. She's like, there is no plan. There is an escape. It's like the Titanic sinking. I'm getting on that boat, right? Before someone else gets on that boat. I'm telling you, they are destroying evidence. They know what's going on. They're destroying the evidence. She is burning papers. She's on the net. She's got people working on it. She's wishing she had smarter people working for her because, the people she has aren't smart enough to scrub the net. Anything else going on? I think there are people who are planning to leave the country. Do you guys have any plan for us? Any plan for the United States? Nope, nope, nope. The Congresses, Republicans in Congress are very worried. Okay. Now, I kind of see the far right, who is Issa, that's Senator Issa, one of my least favorite people. He's a bit more confident. He's thinking, well, they cannot hurt me because I'm this important guy. But it does cross his mind. Susan Collins, she shows up. Interestingly, not only is she worried, she is feeling a bit guilty. Like, hey, I wish I hadn't done that. I mean, she's actually human enough that she cares about the people that were murdered. So what else? She just kind of looks down, a little bit accepting fate. Yeah, a lot of them are going to lose election. They won't have very much power. But you know what I have to say? These people feel somewhat invincible, except maybe for Kristi Noem. They don't really think that they will ultimately be punished. They've seen others not be punished. So they think that this game will go. But it is a little bit, it's like a liar keeping track of the lies. They're worried about how to cover it up. If they're going to have to keep spinning, keep in mind their activities will be dedicated to a cover up. So they will not be able to do other terrible things.
Sorry, it was me. I muted myself. So, but just before we came on, there was reports where they're really pissed off at Stephen Miller, and he might lose his job, and they're really pissed off at Homeland Security girl because she threw Stephen Miller under the bus and says I was just taking direction from him. That's the reason why I got on, on live TV and told the lie. I was just saying what you wanted me to say. And so there was a whole bunch of that going on before we just came on. So I know that so your chaos is good. They're in chaos mode. They're in, what is it called? Damage control right now.
Right.
And I mean, the fact that I don't think they can spin the murder because we're starting to believe that he really didn't even have a gun.
Oh, really?
There's no evidence. Nobody saw a gun on him. We're just what they're telling us. I'm like, you guys lie.
Right.
So
why do you believe that?
Yeah, so it's like you guys have to pretend like he had a gun. You guys had to act like you took a gun off his head. I mean, it's just really kind of weird. There's one picture where it looks like one of the agents kind of taking it out of his pants. But then again, that could have been faked too. We don't know what the truth is, but it was flat out murder for sure. Thank you for the donations for hot cocoa for Sheila and iced tea for Dave. So thank you so much. Also, this one says the Walk of Peace of the Monks get to DC mid-February. Also, do you think that their positive counters the regime? I do believe that. But will they and their dog Oka be safe? Yes, I've always believed that they would be absolutely safe. I've never and that. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a little scene that I have been seeing for probably maybe 6 months now, and I don't know if I've mentioned it or not. I see the aftermath. Number one, after it's all over with, they kind of walk in after the tornado all wind blows down, blah blah blah. And they kind of walk in after the Republicans and Donald Trump are all gone, and they're looking at the banking account, and the banking account has been pillaged and raped and pillaged. You know what I mean? And it's been gone. They took and stole money from every section of our country, so we have to rebuild the financial part about our thing. Also, when they go into this place, they kind of see like the wallpaper is peeling off, the paint is peeling off the walls, the toilet seat is broken. This is a visual that I have kind of been seeing. I don't know if it's actual, but it's like maybe a remote view that I have been kind of seeing on this. I don't know why the bathroom and the toilet is so important, where the walls and the paint in the is falling off and stuff like that. I'd have to kind of get some deep thing. But what do you see the aftermath? What is it that you kind of see? I mean, even just a little snippet. Are you been getting visuals of it? Because that's what I've been getting.
Well, as you're describing it, it's like, huh, yeah, I could see this, Oval Office with a flag that's half burned, right? I don't know if your vision is symbolic, and of course, it's like in the toilet,
Right.
right? It's very
Right.
symbolic, right? Let's check it out. Let's see what's the aftermath look like. Well, this is interesting. JD Vance is absolutely the most uncharismatic human in the universe, right? So he's going to have to clean this mess up, right? And whether Trump lives for 3 days or 6 months or a year, JD's going to be there. Here he is. He just looks terrible. I mean, he just looks like the most milquetoast dork that accidentally became president. I mean, that's quite true. Uh, name a JD Vance accomplishment. No one's going to like him. Everybody on the right is going to compare him to Trump and say they can't stand him. So it's a really, and he's totally ineffective. Like if nobody's going to follow him, nothing is going to get done all of JD Vance. He's not going to be able to work with the Dems. He's not going to be able to work with the Republicans because they can't stand him. The people aren't going to support him. So it's really like a sort of a messy time where I see more and more and more anger building against the Republican Party. And it's like, okay, 25% are going to support Trump no matter what. Not true of Vance. I think there's another 5 points. And now we're getting to 80% to 20%. I think a lot of those are going to be independents. But if we've got those kinds of numbers on the left, impeachment is realistically possible. Impeaching the Supreme Court becomes realistically possible. Putting in a new attorney general is reasonably possible. If you are in the Senate and you can get rid of the vice president first and then the president, you impeach them both, then it becomes the Speaker of the House that is the leader, that is the president, right? If we elect enough Democrats, the Speaker of the House will be Democrats. So, well, let's ask: is that going to happen? Maybe. More things will happen between now and then that'll make this, somewhat complicated. I see a raging public, absolutely furious, raging public, like January 6th type people. I don't think this is the left. I think this is the right. And they are so mad at Vance that they are, ready to storm the White House. So tell me more about it. I do feel like there's like almost like people surrounding the White House demanding he leave. to the point where he might resign, right? He might just resign and get out of there and let whoever's new VP could in control out of pure fear for his life. Let me ask, I think it is important, what's it like with the average person? Relief. I mean, it's not going to be good times or anything, but at least we're not careening towards full dictatorship. One thing I think is important to note is just Vance is not, all Trump has is some magic ability to convince these people with whatever words and aggression that he uses. This is not going to be true.
Whatever. Yeah, unfortunately, whatever, I have never ever seen a person like this publicly that has gotten a mass cult-like following ever. I mean, whatever. I don't know what is it that he says or does that keep them so hooked, other than racism. That's the only thing I can think of, that they have hung their racism hat and tails onto this MFR, and he has been plowing the way for them to continue on with their racism, and that's the only thing that I can think of and see that has kept them so solid with him. Anyways, I could just go on and on and on about that. But here's it's like the, I had a thought and it left. But anyways, it is like they can't. Okay, remember back in the day when your parents used to tell you, you know, if you tell a lie, that means your plans will fall apart because it started with a lie. Or when you go into a marriage, you need to be completely honest, because if you start a marriage with a lie or a cheat or something like that, you don't have a good foundation. They don't have a good foundation to do what they're doing.
Yes.
Does that make any sense to me? They have not. They have Swiss cheese as a foundation. They can't build anything on lies and deceit and continue on. It will fall apart. It's just Murphy's law at this point.
Right.
And I think this is what we're seeing.
Yeah. We all wondered why this didn't happen sooner. But, you know, Trump is that sort of agent who, you know, in some sense is supposed to wreck everything in some ways. So I think that's almost like a sort of divine protection. It sounds counterintuitive, but part of my feeling is like he is supposed to bring this chaos to wake people up, to create community, to have evidence. What is it about this? See, you know, people that I know who are, you know, supporting Trump are afraid, can't manage this new world. That is the technology, all this stuff, all this information they simply cannot manage. And what you're doing is going, I'm only going to see this. I can't, it's too complex. You know, people think that there's this deep state. Well, they're not wrong. There is a deep state. It's called, you know, Washington, D.C. is just full of people pumping money from illegally from other countries or whatever. That's the deep state. But that is a complex and vast thing. That means you would have to really make big changes to our society. Blaming it on people from South America, pretty simple. So I think it's just a sort of, I'm overwhelmed. I need to blame someone so that I can understand my world. And that's how I'm going to understand it. It's also people who are coming from a background of pure capitalism. If it's true that climate change is real, then pure capitalism isn't going to work.
Right.
It is flawed. And you cannot admit that there's a flaw because it's sort of your religion, right? And capitalism can't be bad in any way. So I am going to construct a world where this is true. It's a little bit saying, I don't have to tell the truth, so I'll just choose my lies because it pisses you off. Ha ha. You know, there's a bit of that.
Yeah, there is a bit of, but each lie has a plan. We've known this for each lie. The liars love to lie because they want you to make decisions based on them. That's why they lie to you. And that's what the Republican Party has lied to their base. They want them to vote the way they want them to vote. That's why they have to keep the lie up. They have to tell them this lie in order to control who they support. That's
Yeah.
that's one of their goals, and there's so many of them. But we're almost running out of time, so I wanted to say thank you so much for that donation or contribute, whatever it's called, like super chat. Let's call it a super sticker. But I do have one question here. It says, question, are liars feeling the energy their lies are generating? Ooh, that's a good one. Do I hate to use guilt or shame for these people because I don't think they have it. I just don't. I don't think they're not getting the guilt and shame as a normal human being out here in the real world would feel when they tell a lie or deceive somebody.
Yeah.
But are they feeling the heat of their deception? Are they feeling the chaos within themselves while they're mass, as they're doing? Am I, you know what I mean? I wonder, can you just out of intuition, yes or no kind of a situation? Yes or no, do you
So
think? Yeah, go ahead.
what's your question exactly?
The question is do you think that they're starting to feel so you know how narcissists, they'll lie with impunity. They don't have the shame, they don't have the guilt, they don't have nothing.
Right.
But when your lies start to topple, their brain and their chaos starts to really hammer them in. Do you think that they're kind of starting to step over, like 2 left feet now? Because you can't tell a lie over here at this side and then tell a lie over at this side and then have them meet in the middle and everything's going to work out for you. It's just not going to happen.
I think there are two kinds of people who are, voted for Trump. I think there's a section of people like, I don't really watch the news. Democrats suck too, whatever. Right. Well, all my friends are voting for him. I don't want to go to the party and be that weird person. So, yeah, I'm not really that into it, but, I've got to take my kids to school, whatever. Right. And also, I don't like the Democratic Party very much. I think that's legit. Like, they just paid for ICE again. What are they doing over there? And I do think part of the process is to overturn Dems, who are not necessarily liars. They are composed to some degree of, people who are kind of self-serving and don't really, there's more of a job, right? So there's the sort of Joe Rogan people who are, I'm going to convince myself that this is okay. Well, they're motivated by things like Hillary Clinton was a woman. It's sexist. Had she been a man, she wouldn't have had these problems. She'd be president. So I think there's all these sort of, maybe they're not really aware of it, but it's pretty easy. It's easy to go to the party and be the Republican person. That's one segment of people. And that's the segment of people who will change. I think I see 25% of people, they absolutely will not admit that they were wrong. And we all know people in our lives.
That ego is too big. Their ego is too big. That's what I mean. I don't see them changing as a human being over this. I just can't. I have yet to see it. I see it. I don't even see it in my own brother. It is unbelievable, the man that I used to know compared to the Trumper that I know now. It just boggles my mind. Wow. How different and how he just refuses to change, refuses to shift his support somewhere else. And even though I know he knows better.
Keep in mind, we were told this. Now, people like Dolores Cannon, they said the world will split. These people will literally live in a different reality than you will, right? Yep. And this is just, it's just inevitable. This is how the new age shows up. We have to have this crazy rupture. And there are some people who simply will not go along with us. And if you can think about that, there's just, it is a little bit like a child who is not, well, in a good sense, we've all lost our communities. Now, we don't all go to some community field in person anymore. We're creating it on the internet and some other ways. I think a lot of y'all are meeting each other, and God bless you. I think that's really what we need. Even beyond meeting online, physical meeting of other people who can work together. That is happening, and it's a beautiful thing. Some people are desperate for community, and they are so alienated by their situation or the people around them that they are lonely, and they're going to the internet and they're constructing a community where they are always right and the others are always to blame. I think there's a whole set of people for whom life has not worked out very well. You know, being in San Francisco when I was, in my 20s, I watched all these people get these terrific jobs. And then at 30, they all got fired because they're too old now. So they were all gung ho for everything. Oh, yeah, America's the greatest. And then you turn 30, and these people are making $250,000 a year, and they can't find a job anywhere. So they are disappointed in life. They feel like they are failures. They've lost their communities. They are in a place where the rent is really high, and there's some 22-year-old person that's got their job. You can imagine how older people feel about younger people. They're taking their jobs literally. They're firing them. Your boss is younger than you. So I think there's a whole body of people that is really wanting to live 20, 30 years ago. And that's the whole slogan. Live in the past. Present a world where we live in the past. You and I both know, you can't undo the internet. You can't put the cork back in the bottle. It's like, this is a new world, but they're trying desperately. And it's almost like Tinkerbell. If we all believe it's true, then it'll become true. It is true for those people. That's who they talk about. That's what they hear on the net. Everything is confirmed that they are in the real world. And it's just shocking to people. You and me have a conscience. You and I have admitted when you're wrong. Our viewers have been through a process where we respect people who tell the truth. And so we can't even conceive of how a person could do this. But I think it's important. Denial. I saw this with the war in Iraq. The second time around, I'm like, come on. Colin Powell, I don't care who you are. Those pictures do not show weapons of mass destruction. Even after that war, how many times did you hear a conservative, Republican, anyone else say, I was wrong? 0 times.
0.
They will not go there. They can't admit that they are wrong. So the good thing is we really can view this process and see it for what it is. The really good thing too is I think people like you and I in our views, we've made a lot of sacrifices, and we have grown to the point where it really matters if somebody's telling the truth. I think in the past we might have overlooked that a bit. Like, well, okay, love, peace, No, I think we're getting to a point where no, I am fighting for this.
I want and thank you so much for the donation. Also, Foggy from the last one too. I just wanted to make sure that we don't forget. I want Congress to be held accountable that you cannot tell a lie on the floor of Congress. I want that passed so badly that they cannot, like when you're in a committee, if you lie about something, you're out. You got to, you get penalized or something. I want that law to be in so bad.
Yeah.
So
I also want that for the media. And, we do have something. Fox did get sued for a direct lie about a corporation that had enough money to sue them, right? So that
was an expensive lie.
Barely a window. I think they should make it a little bit bigger and say, you can get sued if you lie, and also it doesn't matter if you didn't know it was a lie. You're responsible to make sure that is true before you say that. I think that there's I don't know if they need to extend it to every single person who makes a comment on the internet. That seems impossible and going maybe too far. But if you're any kind of news agency, you should be held to a higher standard. And we used to have a higher standard. We used to have the fairness doctrine, where people got at least to respond to what is said. If we allow this world to go into a fantasy, then how can we be a democracy? It can't be a democracy without
reality.
Yeah.
You can't. You absolutely cannot, work and have a country built off of lies. Just, well, never mind, because that's exactly what the United States has been built off of, apparently.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we're learning the hard truth about it, but we want to do better, and we want to have a better country. We have so much to work for, and we have so much to work with. If they would just let us get there and become a better country, become an honest, become, equal and stuff like that. They just won't let us get there. It's like a
Yeah.
stumbling block for these idiots.
Mhm.
No, I can't make $1 million off of equality. But anyways, we have I've been on for about an hour. I know you have other commitments as well. I just wanted to know if you wanted to take kind of the last 10 minutes and give us a message, a channeled message for everyone. That would be awesome.
Sure. I keep getting like certain words like we've got to be on the same page. In some sense, this had to happen. If it's only the Joe Rogan bunch, it couldn't be 60-40. It has to be 75-25, or we won't have enough senators to impeach. We've never dealt with the Supreme Court problem. We're going to need overwhelming numbers. So there is a divine purpose to this. Things are changing. Let's see, I'm getting a lot of light. Spirit, what can you tell us that will be helpful now? Yeah, you have to experience, this is again white feather, you have to experience the horror of war. Some people have to experience the horror of war before they get to peace. Many of you are already there. You're already peaceful. You don't need a war. And you live in a society, though, where for some people that's the case. I'm just seeing all Americans sort of sitting in a circle in a teepee as we pass the peace pipe around. And it is sort of like after the fact, after this crisis, after all of these things happen, you feel like all of the people in the teepee are coming together with the perspective of having experienced what we've experienced. It feels forgiving. And I don't want to rush anybody to forgiveness right now. That is completely your process. And maybe you'll never want to do it. And that's okay. But at least in this tent, it feels like there's calm. There's something else you can tell us about it. I see an American flag. It's tattered, but it's still flying, right? So notice some things have worked. We have been able to get these things on camera and change people's minds. We do have the power. There are some people who were, on the wrong side that have changed. Can we know more? Here's another positive thing. We are all relying and learning much more on spirit and intuition than we did before. Hey, are you still there? It looks like I lost you. But let's just finish off there with that. Oh, there you are. Yeah.
I just let you be like center
Oh,
stage
okay,
when you were giving the thanks. I was here. Thank you, Dave. The one thing that we have to kind of focus on also is that we will get through this. We will. There's been many people, many generations, and many countries have gone through what we're going through right now. I mean, just look at Germany, how much better people they are because of their chaos and what they went through, and we will survive and we will make it better. I just want to, we have enough people here, we have enough good people here that we can make a difference and we can make this country better. We just, I like it. Just stick in there, people. I don't want to be like this goody two shoes. Just hang in there, everyone, because it's difficult. I mean, how do you get through, your government murdering people on the street? I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't. We'll figure it out, but I don't know yet.
Yes. Take time for yourselves. Turn it off for at least half an hour. Go to some place where you feel better. I'm reading books more. and I'm not reading super duper serious books. I put the Brothers Karamazov aside, and I'm channeling Biker Bob. Okay, and I want you to know I just don't usually read, sort of silly books. Give yourself the chance. Read your favorite book. Read your favorite child's book. I like to see myself as a child and then give that child love, because I'm an empath and I'll never just do something for myself. I'll always think of others. I know you guys are the same way. You must go to your inner child as if it is another person and say, soothe you. What can I do for you?
Yeah.
Give you a hug. I'm going to give you a little trip to Disneyland. You got to do this, or you won't be able to function well enough to create the world that we want to create. It's important to also take care of yourselves,
Yeah.
however you.
Yeah. Do your best to have, I know what I do at night while I'm sleeping is I listen to like Buddha mantras or something along that lines while I'm sleeping, so just to do my brain to give me some good stuff in, because if I'm always just absorbing the crap that we have in this country right now, I'm gonna absolutely go berserk. So you always have to remember, feed something, replace it before you absorb the other stuff. So anyways, I know we're probably just, speaking to the choir, talking to the choir. I appreciate every single one of you. We had at least almost 1,700 people in here between your channel and my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for the stickers and the donations, the chat, whatever they're called, the whatever they're called. Anyways, love to everyone. Love to Dave, and I appreciate you, and we will see you next month. Dave and I do this every month until we hit a holiday.
Yes. Switch it up. Thanks everyone for doing all of the great things that you are doing. It makes a big difference to just be in the light. If you can add a kindness to someone, spend a little time with children, that's great. But just being in the light is bringing a light. It's great to know you guys.
Yes. Thanks everyone. Bye.